Hello everyone, and now welcome to a 2v2 matchup, Scars and Edo Boy, or Edo, going up against Starshaped and ThorZaIN. Scars spawning as the red orc here, his partner directly to the south, Edo Boy spawning, or Edo spawning as the red undead, going up against the Night Elf human combination from Sweden, Starshaped and, well, Starshaped and ThorZaIN. Alright, so for a lot of you guys out there, hopefully you guys have been following some of the Stormgate news. A lot of WarCraft 3 and StarCraft developers had moved over to Frost Giant Studios, actually literally almost down the street from where Blizzard was, and has made a new studio and has been making a lot of headway in their new real-time strategy engine. There currently is a Kickstarter. I am still waiting for the Kickstarter to end to figure out what I want to do or get closer to the end, but a lot of items have begun to sell out already, so definitely check it out for the future of real-time strategy games. I believe it is going to be free to play on Steam. What you're getting, I think they're going to be making some like actual limited edition, collector's edition, and actual physical box sets. You know, reminiscing back to the days of StarCraft and well, WarCraft 3 collector's editions. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out what's happening here. Scars opening things up, going to be going with a Farseer. Meanwhile, we're looking at a Death Knight coming in from Edo. Meanwhile, we are looking at a Paladin. So Paladin rifles, ThorZaIN very, very well known for that particular strategy, and Keeper of the Grove and archers. Also, another thing to note out there, thank you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of you guys. Hopefully, however you guys are doing this season, may you be blessed and filled with peace. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down in this matchup here. There's a quick, Death Coil quickly taking down that Wisp there. No detonation. Death Knight getting that experience and now already on the move. Keeper of the Grove clearing out of this section here. Both sides, well, clearing out their own neck of the woods. It feels like things are pretty quick here. The map does feel relatively small, and everyone seems to be creeping instead of trying to do any harassment on the other side. Yep. Oh, quick note for all of you guys out there. Apparently, some guys like the reminders that I give. If you do have an Amazon Prime sub to use, remember to use it. Doesn't have to be for me. Of course, I do greatly appreciate it. Everything that, well, I don't do it for the money, but without the little bit of support, I probably wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's not going to pay all of my bills, but definitely help does pay for some of them, and gives me a little bit of justification for waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning just to get in an hour of casting with you guys before my day really starts. Keeper of the Grove gonna go ahead and clear out the Kobold Taskmaster creep camp here. It does not look like there's gonna be any up or any fast expansions for the teal side. Meanwhile, Undead is gonna go ahead and fast expand. You see the Blight already being placed down and the Haunted Gold Mine now getting summoned up for Edo. Coming back across on the south side here, Paladin still sitting at level 1, needs to get to level 2 for that Devotion Aura, and this is really when this army becomes the unkillable army. The use of ranged units coupled with that very, very strong burst heal just works out very well. Hycro just a tad late, I'm afraid. Did I miss much? No. 2v2 action. Paladin, Keeper of the Grove going up against Farseer and Death Knight. They've really barely scouted each other so far, but Scars is doing a great job leveling up. Already at level 3 on his Farseer. Keeper of the Grove not too far behind either. He's going to get to level 3. And one question I do have for Starshaped is, where's the Priestess of the Moon? Right? If you know your partner is going to be going for this Rifleman army, are we gonna see Creepers of the Priestess of the Moon for that True Shot Aura? That should be a massive, massive damage bonus across the board, as the Battle Golem tries to figure out which targets to attack. Normally the computer does not like to engage against any unit that is ensnared, so the battle golem is just on the edge of walking range, going back and forth. Vampiric aura now on that Paladin. Paladin should be able to get to level 3 here in just a moment, finishing off 1 or 2 more of these creeps, and that will give level 3 and then allow for a level 2 burst heal on that Rifleman there. Meanwhile, Farseer coming back across the south. Death Knight may try and test the waters, but while testing the waters against a level 3 Paladin with a lot of focus fire could be hazardous for all of those ghouls. Instead, Keeper of the Grove trying to test the waters here. The ghouls are going to be able to dive on in, perhaps take down these archers. Archer 1 already taken down. There goes an entangle back on the other side here. Death Knight may try and get a death coil to finish off another archer there. Doesn't even need it. The Nerubian tower more than enough to cause problems. Meanwhile, ThorZaIN taking this opportunity to clear out creep camps while Starshaped comes back to defend. Home field advantage here, but remember, there are assassins and a handful of units out here. Starshape's base is actually looking rather sparse, even with some entangles going down. Keeper of the Grove could be in a little bit of trouble. He is at tier 2, should be able to buy a potion of healing if necessary. Does have it. Also has the Moonwell there, but he is currently completely surrounded, trying to break free. Priestess of the Moon is now out here, as is the Keeper of the Grove going to be able to break free? That is the question, trying to take down all of these units here, as we're looking at some of those assassins, well, going to get taken down. So 1 assassin taken down. Starshaped going to lose an archer most likely, as it's trying to head back away. There goes another archer. It ends up getting denied. This one gets taken down as the ghouls are swarming over. Meanwhile, what is happening here? ThorZaIN now finally teleporting in to join in on the battle. Starshaped was in a little bit of trouble, and well, ThorZaIN's arrival to the party is drastic, as the Paladin now tries to push across here. Blood Mage is out there, level 2 Holy Light, blasting down a ghoul, as we see the, well, Expo pretty much getting cleaned up here. All right, more damage getting racked up. Farseer going to try and take down a peasant here. Death Knight fighting off next to the Goblin Merchant Shop. Meanwhile, Scars and this Farseer is pretty much by himself, as another grunt gets taken out. All right, quick turn of events. Suddenly, Scars is in a lot of trouble, as the Paladin gets up to level 4. Level 2 Holy Light is available. The Farseer escapes away at level 4, and we're just going to see this army continue to move across the battlefield. Yeah, surrounded and killed within your own base there. The Ancients of Lore were reset and may be reset again, as the Keeper of the Grove is trying to get resurrected. Meanwhile, peasants are now making their way off to the north here, not quite sure what they're going to do, as Wind Riders are now suddenly showing up to the battlefield. Scars, well, went for Wind Riders knowing that ThorZaIN has Riflemen. This is a little bit of an odd scenario to be in, as we see Holy Light saving up some units there. There's a Death Coil trying to save a ghoul there, as are we going to see the Paladin come across, get a Holy Light? Yes, and just blast down another ghoul again. Tauren Chieftain shows up to the party, wondering what he missed, gets a little bit of mana drained, as Wind Riders are going to be going after the Ancient of Wonders here. Keeper of the Grove going to come back around, perhaps do a little bit of auto attack. Riflemen showing up. Riflemen do have the upgraded range now and are able to, well, poke back these Wind Riders, at least temporarily. Expo still not being set up. ThorZaIN has these peasants here at the 3 o'clock spot, unable to do very much of anything. Meanwhile, Wind Rider Farseer going to dive on in here. Tauren Chieftain, well, has a little bit of mana, but doesn't have any skill or ability to spend it on, as the Blood Mage now dives in here. All right, Rifleman may be able to get in some damage onto some of those Wind Riders. Wind Riders trying to back away. There's a Holy Light trying to save. Arcane Tower, well, feeding back all of that Farseer. Now Blood Mage could siphon mana away from the Tauren Chieftain, but more important, apparently, is to just well, put pressure on those units. Meanwhile, back off to the north here, ghouls swarming. Riflemen were left behind to try and protect them from the Wind Riders, only to see the Death Knight and ghouls now show up to the party. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove has, well, Priestess of the Moon and archers here, and I don't see a lot of Dryads anywhere out on the battlefield. There just isn't enough production, as we're now looking at level 4 on the Death Knight. Death Knight does also have, well, that potion of replenishment. Death Coil going to save that low hit point ghoul. Blood Mage shows up to the party. Keeper of the Grove going to show up to the party, and And here we are going to see some entangles try to take down some of those units here. 1 or 2 more shots should be enough to finish off another ghoul there. So 2 ghouls getting taken out as the Wind Riders are rotating around trying to figure out where they can put pressure out on the map. This ghoul should get strangled to death by those entangling roots. No, 8 hit points and able to escape away. Meanwhile, an army of Wind Riders trying to make their way back down to the bottom. So some crazy engagements going around here. ThorZaIN not having any guard towers here. We're seeing a call to arms, and now because of the positioning, the riflemen are unable to easily get to those Wind Riders with that faster movement speed from the Tauren Chieftains. Well, Tauren Chieftain's Endurance Aura. All right, are we going to see some more Siphon mana here? Militia are just getting into position. Both sides fighting their way through again, and the Riflemen not opting to attack that Tauren Chieftain as the Tauren Chieftain loses all of its mana again. Gargoyles are owning the skies now, coupled with Wind Riders. Dryads now showing up as well. Archers, Dryads easily going to get picked apart by those Gargoyles. There's a Frost Nova coming across from the Lich as this is just a massive air battle going up against this massive ground battle. Both sides fighting against each other easily. Lich, is it going to be able to get off another Frost Nova? Yes, it does. Now finally out of mana as the archers are trying to, battle up against all of these gargoyles. Lich falls at level 1. We need to see more healing as we see now a surround perhaps on that Death Knight. Death Knight, however, seems to be okay. Keeper of the Grove does have enough mana for another entangle, but will it last enough? That is the question, as the Death Knight is going to be forced to use the Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. All right, there's a Holy Light saving that Dryad there. 400 hit point heal as the Death Knight retreats back home. Back down to the south side here. Scout towers trying to get constructed to guard towers, but not going to be enough. ThorZaIN absolutely getting punished. Wind Rider is going to go poke part here as the Tauren Chieftain going to get to level 2 after all this time. Wind Rider trying to test the waters against the range of those riflemen. Blood Mage finally shows up. There goes one Wind Rider there, but you can see the Envenom Spears finally, taking a bit of their toll across all of these units. Riflemen trying to get into position here. Meanwhile, Dire Wolf getting in lots of easy attacks across units as they're rotating back targets onto those other units again. Riflemen still trying to shoot their way out of this predicament as we see a couple of banishes there to, protect against the spears of the Wind Riders. Guard towers are needed. There is no arcane vault. We haven't seen a scroll of regeneration at all coming in from the human army of ThorZaIN. Meanwhile, Edo and Scars has been playing a very strong game, very heavy pressure throughout, as we're now looking at the army, undead army, going after the red creep camp in the center of the map. Meanwhile, Priestess of the Moon and Keeper of the Grove may be able to catch some of these units. Nope, no catching any of these units. The Revenant of the Seas, I believe the level 6 creep was taken out, and level 5 is still 2 level 5 heroes here as the Tauren Chieftain, and I'm sure Lich would like to level up. Lich did pick up a Robe of Magi. We are upgrading the halls of, or upgrading to Black Citadel, and with that Black Citadel, Orb of Corruption on already a +9 attacking Lich. All right, finally a little bit of a breather. This particular matchup, I gotta hand it, Scars and Edo are doing a great job constantly rotating their pressure. It feels like Starshaped and ThorZaIN are on the back foot, trying to define the pace of this game and having a little bit of difficulty doing so. There goes a Frost Nova there. Archers gonna get picked off here. Gargoyles fighting their way through. No scrolls of healing, and you can also see a little bit of that slow poison adding up again. Priestess of the Moon still trying to get up to level 3 here. That would act as a big damage boost. Meanwhile, ThorZaIN is perhaps trying to take some tempo away from his opponent by attacking his opponent directly. All right. 53 supply going up against 61 supply. So ThorZaIN does have a decent supply army as he's rushing or walking on in here. Now I can't even say rushing in here as these units are moving fairly slowly. Guard towers are all in position. There goes a shockwave taking down many of these peasants here as, guard towers are trying to pick apart this. Tauren Chieftain may throw down another shockwave here just again. And ThorZaIN with this army is just picking off ghouls one at a time. Tactical retreat. Where's the Paladin going to go? Paladin is going to go ahead and teleport back here as the Tauren Chieftain. Actually, is he stuck? No, he is not. He's able to escape away. Wind Riders, however, getting picked apart, giving away level 3 to the Priestess of the Moon. All right, so ThorZaIN's strategy to put pressure on the main base, it was able to draw a Scroll of Town portal from Edo. Edo, in that Scroll of Town portal, forcing, well, ThorZaIN to use his Scroll of Town portal and head back home. By heading back home, well, he was able to get some nice defense right there, as we're looking at level 3 now on the right, or on the Blood Mage. Level 2 Siphon Mana will quickly drain out these heroes, and well, that is going to be key. However, it may be difficult to even try and click on the necessary opponent or target, as you see so many Wind Riders and so many air units, which could make Micro a bit difficult. All right, heading back off to the north here, we're looking at some, well, easy clearing of these creep camps. The gargoyles just clearing out things without a problem. Meanwhile, Wind Rider down to 264 hit points, and there is the Owl Scout to get sight up onto high ground, which is key. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing around. We could be looking at a Shockwave. There it goes. 3 archers quickly fall. Chain Wave doing its thing, as the Priestess of the Moon also falls as well, removing a massive damage bonus from the Night Elf human army. 20% damage bonus lost with that Priestess of the Moon gone, as the, well, riflemen, archers, and some of the heroes lose that True Shot aura. Coming back around, Wind Riders doing a little bit of poking there, yeah. Death Coil, Frost Nova, Chain Lightning, Shockwave, quickly removing, well, the Priestess of the Moon's chances of being able to stay alive. Coming back around here, what is going down? Wind Riders still making their way off to the north. You're seeing a little bit of, well, bonus damage affecting there. All right. All right, Frost Nova, more pressure. That's a lot of gargoyles nearby. Dryads are going to start showing up. Perhaps a little bit of slow poison, but this is a pincer play. Shockwave, Chain Lightning pulling them from behind here. Blood Mage has not been able to get that many, well, Siphon Manas off. There's a Siphon Mana on the Tauren Chieftain, who's now out of mana here. Meanwhile, Scroll of Protection now being used by the Wind Riders and gargoyles, and this is just a dominating air army. Air versus anti-air, and somehow the air is winning well with the combination of the Farseer and that Tauren Chieftain. If you told me at the start of this game that Scars is going to scout out ThorZaIN going for the Paladin Unkillable Rifleman army, and he chooses to go mass Wind Riders, I would question this strategy. But so far, Scars and Edo have been doing such a great job just defining the pace of this game that the strategy seems to be working. Couple of Wind Riders off to the side here. Units are still pushing their way back. Blood Mage trying to get some more mana off somewhere. Perhaps funnel it back into the Paladin. Paladin did opt to go for, I believe, level 3 Devotion Aura. It's going to be level 2 Holy Light, as the Keeper of the Grove falls at level 4. Wind Riders are slowly getting taken out still. There's some more Siphon Mana again. The Gargoyles are not getting challenged. Perhaps some sort of Panda Breath of Fire as a third hero could work out well, but it would get bursted down so quickly with all of the undead and orc spell damage. Coming back around here, Death Knight may get up to level 6 here, draining all of that mana. Suddenly, no more mana to go. Paladin needs some mana as well. There's some more Holy Light trying to save up those units. And remember, those, I guess the Devotion Aura perfectly countering act all of the... oh no, it's level 3 Holy Light. All right, I take it back. Level 3 Holy Light. The Death Knight trying to get around, finally maybe able to break through here. Are we going to see some more damage? Oh, a Banish Holy Light would have been funny. A Banish Holy Light perhaps could have done a large bit of damage. Priestess of the Moon is going to get bursted down. No, gets another 600 hit point heal just in time. Gargoyles are getting taken out, and it finally feels like Scars and Edo are starting to overstay their welcome. Are we going to see the Priestess of the Moon get cleaned up here? Paladin needs to go back and try and help. Unable to do it. Gets the Holy Light off on a Gargoyle as the Priestess of the Moon gets picked away again. All right, ThorZaIN missing that, or perhaps Starshaped was trying to move away with that target and making it a bit difficult. Coming back through, wow. Don't mean to scroll back. Paladin forced to Scroll of Town Portal and retreat. Crazy 2v2 fight. Low hit point Wind Rider able to escape at 41 hit points. Alright, we are nearing level 6 on the Farseer. Tauren Chieftain sitting at 4.5. Pressure is still mounting up. Starshaped sitting at 21 supply. Well, ThorZaIN sitting at 40. Meanwhile, Edo is at 73. And Scars is at 50, even though he has those population-heavy Wind Riders. Alright, so population-heavy Wind Riders able to do their thing. Tauren Chieftain trying to knock on the front door here. Flying machines trying to get trained up by the workshop. Flak cannons are going to be incredibly important. Is the sudden appearance of flying machines going to be enough? You can see the flying machines, well, just showing up to their target there, trying to burst down a couple. There goes one, and another flying machine, however, going to get, well, picked off here. Farseer says, you know what, it's time for a tactical retreat. More flying machines getting added. 2 workshops training up, 2-0 upgrades, perhaps flak cannons on all of those Wind Riders who are, well, sitting on top of each other. All right, as the battle is going on here, Blood Mage, Clarity Potion, Paladin maxed out on a mana, Devotion Aura level 2. It was the Ring of Protection which was throwing me off on in terms of what level Devotion Aura. Yeah, big heals, 600 hit point heals, 300 hit point burst damage. As now we are looking at Frostworms joining in on the fight as well. So Frostworms pushing their way through. Well, Priestess of the Moon trying to get resurrected. Undead is just pretty much moving, auto-attacking with this army. And it is so clumped together because they are all air units. Blood Mage gets bursted down in an absolute second, trying to drain mana. That was not the strategy you really wanted to go for. Meanwhile, the flying machines were able to do a turnaround, get in some burst damage onto those gargoyles, but with nowhere to really retreat to, the gargoyles are finally getting onto all of those flying machines. Simply just didn't have the necessary numbers. All right, Holy Light gonna save that low hit point rifleman, trying to burst down all of these wolves here. There's level 6 now on the Paladin. Keeper of the Grove has fallen at level 4, and even with a level 6 Paladin, resurrection may not, well, no, it does get a good resurrection. Get some Dryads, Archers here, friendly units. Flying Machine's going to try and turn back around, but that is still not going to be enough. ThorZaIN with a last-ditch effort, resurrection, but unable to turn the tide of this crazy battle. All right. There were some big heals earlier on, but at the same time, well, you can't heal a target if it instantly gets burst down, as we saw that Death Coil, Frost Nova, Chain Lightning, Shockwave on a stationary Blood Mage, and also Priestess of the Moon. Well, just a horrible way to lose your early heroes. Let me know what you guys thought about this particular strategy. Mass air versus mass anti-air, and Edo Boy and Scars made it look easy.